Rock and roll. Kia ora, everybody. What's up? It is robett. Welcome to a Wednesday. I'm joined by Mr. Dion, Nash, founder at Triumph in Disaster. How are you, my friend?
I'm really good. Nice to see you, Robert.
I see that you're in the office. It is the last day before the shutdown. You are frantically packing. What is happening right behind that curtain of death, as I see behind you?
Yeah, there's a bit of action behind you. No, we're a skeleton crew. Most people are at home, but we've had one order for China come in, which we're desperately trying to pack out before the world closes down around us. But it's sort of like one of those action movies where you're running to get, the buildings collapsing behind you, and you're running to get out the front door. We've got the jewel in your hand, though.
I was at a phone call on the weekend. It was funny. I ended up working. Obviously, I think everyone just worked the entire weekend, smashing everything. And I was saying to a friend of mine that works at a bank, I go, you know what's quite interesting is all of a sudden everyone in my ecosystem is starting to feel like they're running the same pace as I usually do. So I was actually quite energized. I'm like, dude, everyone's like on fire, man. Shit's just happening. It's just like boom, boom, boom. But simultaneously, I had another friend, and I said to him on Saturday, I was like, bro, I think by the end of next week, it's going to be lockdown. So if I was you, I'd actually maybe go to the spot and buy these certain things because I know it's going to get locked. And he was like, you reckon? I was like, dude, do it. So anyway, he did it, rang me up, and he was like, bro. I was like, yeah, because then it was obviously a shit show after. Yeah. So you're in your office in Ponsonby.
Yeah.
You run a business that does exports, the whole thing. At a macro, how does this change your business world in the next 24 hours? Because I guess it's going to be a crazy ride, dude. What changes?
Oh, I think the better question is what doesn't change. Yeah, look, I've been pondering all of this myself for days, maybe even weeks now, because you've felt it coming on. But I think anyone who tells you that they know what's going to happen and how this is going to pan out is either delusional or just, I just can't, there's no way you can pick their way through this clearly. I don't think. I think you've just got to live through it and keep walking forward and keep trying to solve each problem as it comes up. The biggest thing for me yesterday was just dealing with my staff and making sure they have certainty over the next month. And what we sort of talked about was, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, and then, beyond that, maybe 3 months. But, that 1 day, 1 week, 1 month is the sort of the process we've taken. And so we went through that day. We did pretty much everything we could yesterday to get everyone home and, set up and working. This next week will be about, trying to really tighten up and work out what our plans are. And so, and then obviously there's the income side of it and everyone needing to know they've got a job or income. So we had to sort of do that. So yesterday was a heavy day. Today, as I said, we're trying to get one last big order out that might be our only income of any significance for a while. So, I've got the minimum staff here, the 2 boys out the back helping pack that. And then from there, it's about, I think the next thing for us will be sort of operational clarity, trying to give, and I'm working with my management team to just try to say, what's our operational sort of goals and what's the day-to-day look like now for every person who's on the payroll, and what does that look like for the next month. So the next week is about trying to give clarity around that, redefine roles for the short term, look for, plan for what's going to happen once we come out the other end of this in a month, hopefully. And that's so sort of that's the sort of day to day, I guess. In the micro, is it? Yeah. I don't know. In terms of the macro situation, like as I said, anyone who can tell you thinks they can tell you what's going to happen from here on in is making it up on the fly, I reckon.
Yeah, it's tricky, right? Because so yesterday I was talking to Jason Paris, CEO at Vodafone, and he was saying, they've got full contingency plans and whole rollouts with the stuff. It's already built into their ecosystem, right? And then I was like, that's great when you got $1 billion and flipping thousands of staff that do this shit. But if you're, like a a small business, so you got, 5, 10, 20 staff or whatever, you don't plan for this shit, and all of a sudden, like, you're cranking, going to work, and one day, like, oh, it might shut. It's like, what do you mean it might shut? It's like, yeah, like nothing tomorrow. And so China is has it been?
But even Vodafone and people like that, though, I'm sure they have got contingencies, and there's going to be businesses who flourish through this, right? For sure. Maybe Vodafone is in one of those situations where they might be better than most. But again, it's like that classic sort of thing. You move one sort of string and pull one pawn out of place, and it's not just that pawn that gets affected; it's the flow-on effect of all the multiple. And we're not going to know all of that. Small, large, medium. There's just so much flow on. That's going.
But they can see that the thing is, like, that there is a documented plan for bigger businesses that doesn't exist in the small, and all of a sudden you've got small business owners who are, not necessarily paycheck to paycheck or invoice to invoice, but having to change their thinking. Where, okay, if this, then that, then that, then that, and actually having to stop, and it's almost like forcing strategic thinking 4 moves ahead, which they probably haven't had to have before. So the mental bandwidth, I think, and the pressure of these business owners as New Zealanders is, I think it's a lot heavier than people are even messing with, because right now it's changing exactly to your point. Like, what one move changes the next to the next. So, I mean, it's probably been pretty overwhelming to try and even think through that, right?
Oh, totally. And you are right. One of the nice things I've noticed is, we're on at 3 Lamps here in Ponsonby, and it has brought that business community closer together, and also within my category, within the sort of cosmetics or larger sort of wellness category, there's sort of 5 or 6 business owners who at times we've connected, and all of a sudden we've all come together and we're all ringing each other and talking and trying to strategize and trying to work through. And so that's a good thing, because that sort of speaks to community, but it also, I think, underlines exactly what you're saying. None of us know, and none of us have planned for this contingency. I mean, you start a year and you think, what's my best case and what's my worst case? Then you sort of probably expect somewhere in between. But no worst case is ever planned.
Zero. Yeah, it's like, so wait a second, I have to stay at home. Oh shit. And then I can't send any orders. Oh, wait a second, how am I going to do this, that? What's the concerns from the other small business owners that you've talked to? What are they stressing about? What's their pain point at? Where's their head at right now?
Oh, well, for most of us, it's, landlords still charging us full rent, So, we've got no income, and our landlords are still going, hey, stuff like that.
So do you heard a little scoop? Oh, Muggy Foster. Miss Foster just messaged, says, hey, Robett and Dion, sending love to you both. Miss Foster. Man, she keeps it real. For those who don't know, Miss Foster was my high school teacher, kept it real at All Sports Academy at Aranui High, and who knows how Dion knows her. Marks knows everyone.
Margie is cheap. Well, netball, that's how I know Margie.
Oh, yeah, true. This I totally lost my train of thought, but this next wave is going to be really nuts, right? What do you think the biggest, actually, no, that's where I was at. Sorry, the landlords. So a friend of mine, Brent Norling, he's a lawyer. He just on LinkedIn, and I think he was on the AM show and stuff this morning. And so there's a clause in most of the regular Auckland leases. I think it's like 27.5 or some shit around no access. Is that something that they've been talking about or heard about or whatever?
Yeah, so our whole street's talking about it, but unfortunately, we are with a landlord who has got his own lease agreement. So I'm sure we've been locked out of that particular clause. But we're just in a situation where I think if there's a responsibility on all of us to pull together, and landlords included. So I'm still going back and forth and trying to see reason. But
we're in the same boat.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll help. Hopefully he's watching this podcast for a bit, and a little bit of pressure will come down.
Don't be a dick. Help everyone out.
But there's also a lot of confusion around the online. We sort of had hoped that the online business would stay open. Seems pretty clear that that's not going to. But
why not?
Well, non-essential. They're saying they're now going to. I was seeing the Herald this morning. We're arresting any non-essential business owners still operating. So I mean, there's all
They
this.
say arresting.
Oh, that was I'm pretty sure I read that. Maybe or visiting.
Piss off.
Maybe I read visiting for arresting. But but I mean, I think so. You know, there is just also this sort of backlash online, right? If you could stay open online and sort of maybe flaunt, you find a loophole, is that sort of you know, going to cause your brand more damage in the long run with the consumer? Who knows? You know, this is unprecedented times. And I think that we just have to show leadership as brands. So, you know, I sort of spoke to my team this morning, and we'll come up with a strategy for our online. But as of 12 o'clock today, we're saying no more. You know, we won't ship again online until the end of the time of lockdown. But we might be able to do something with our customers and say, hey, listen, we'll work with you, and if any orders taken during the lockdown, we can sort of get them out immediately and sort of give some sort of favoritism going forward. I don't know. There's got to be, there's all of this you've got to try to work through. But you know, I think we sort of have to abide by what the government is trying to do here. You know, they're trying to
Totally
save lives and put the virus to bed, so to speak. So let's sort of all get on board with that, I think.
The online one is interesting because if there's no social contact and if there's someone actually manning the spot and there's still things going on, at least keep some revenue going. But I guess it's a slippery slope because all of a sudden people start coming in and out from home, and you know, I can see that. I mean, another option I was just thinking down with my creative ways is you go out and you buy a camper van today. You paint it black. You put Triumph and Disaster on it. You sleep in the camper van, or you get one of the interns there, pack it up with all its shit, and technically it's their house, and then you can just go and just do drive-by deliveries, man. Just like, and then document the whole journey around New Zealand. The Triumph and Disaster, and it's just called it's not even the Triumph, it's just the Disaster Tour until it's finished, and then it becomes a Triumph Tour come the way back up to Auckland. There you go, done.
I've been thinking about it all. You know, we sell soaps. You know, we've got a nice sort of bar of soap. Maybe that's essential. But look, I think in the end, you've just got to take the picture that you know, we're trying to pull together as a community and get this job done against the virus, and then focus on what's going to happen once we get out the other side. You know, we will all find solutions individually as businesses to navigate the next month and make their own decisions. But you know, there's also just decisions around, you know, debtors and creditors and all of the people, you know, all of that cash flow side of business, which, you know, that's going to come into play as, you know, some people make different decisions to others, and so there's so much uncertainty moving forward that I think all you can do is try to show leadership through it and try to run a good sort of moral sort of business that does the right things for the people and the business and the staff. And if you can try to navigate that, good luck.
I think it's going to force pretty blunt and honest conversations with a whole bunch of people, because everyone is affected at every level from top to bottom, employee 1 to 1,000, right? And so from here, you'll work remote, go home, bunch of online stuff. Like, how are you going to navigate your logistics the next little bit? Because obviously you've got the fam, you got the work, you got whatever else.
Well, we've still got, our business is about 80% international offshore. So we've still got 4 warehouses with stock that are operational as I speak. So we've still got international business that we can still ship. And so we do have online business in parts of the world that are still live and relevant. So it's not complete shutdown for us on that side. But what it does do, each country has bringing in its own things. Like the UK, we just heard overnight, that's a shutdown on essential like us, 3 weeks, but then sounds like up there online businesses are open and our warehouses are still open. So, you know, my brain's bursting with trying to just work out, well, what does that mean for us, and trying to work with those staff up there to say, hey, you know, how are you going to manage it from working at home and whatever. Then we've got the US and whatever happens there, and then sort of our sort of Tmall global store in China, where we're just working with our partners to make sure we've got stock, you know. And then you've got Amazon, which, you know, we do a little bit into the States on Amazon, and it's like that seems to be an ecosystem that's pretty well protected.
Yeah.
But
do you think the support for the businesses from the banks and the government has been like the right type of response and support. Obviously, they're doing freezes on a whole bunch of stuff, and there's loans and all sorts of bits and pieces that's been coming out with the packages and stuff. As a business owner, do you feel it's the right approach and gives enough, I guess, confidence to the business owners?
Oh, look, given the decision that's been made, I think the support that's come in behind it has been excellent. Yeah, I think history will look back and go, did we overreact or whatever? That we're not going to know that for years and years and years, and maybe never. And so, if you just look at the decision that's been made, and then you look at the support that the government's given to it, I think it's been excellent.
Pretty decisive too, right? Through the hammer, done.
Yep. I mean, I think that 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was in Taiwan, and I think if you had a model of how to handle it, I think that's actually the model we should have shown, much earlier. And I think sometimes isolation and lack of visiting some of those other countries that have those I think overall we probably, my gut feel is, maybe we could have learned a little bit more earlier from someone like Taiwan, who really have done a great job, and they have gone about it a completely different way. Having said all that, we're now in a situation where we've acted really efficiently and smart and decisively. So now the actions that I think the government's taken after that has been really excellent. So you're talking about the certainty around wages, and how quickly that was done, the certainty around the mortgages, that's happening now for staff, and all of that. All of those things as an employer really, really have helped us navigate the last few days, because there was a high level of anxiety, I think, with staff, and their personal situations. Be able to help sort of ease that has been huge. So the one area that I personally is, I think we could have some leadership by them about rents. I think that I think that would be a really good position, both for private and business. I think that's an area where we need I've heard anecdotally some landlords being amazing, but then
there's going to be some arseholes that want to kick out tenants who've been there, that whatever, you've missed this thing, whatever it's going to be. And that's where I feel for it too, right? Like, I guess in some respects, you're fortunate enough where you can have online footprint to do things with brand and stuff. And, and obviously I can do my thing remote, but if you're a service-based business, whether it be, a cleaner or this or that, or in different facilities and buildings and stuff, and it's just lockdown, you're kind of stuffed for the next little bit, right? Like, that's a tough thing. Or if you're a single parent, and you got kids and you're trying to work and blah, 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 there's going to be we're hearing a lot from, I guess, like some government stuff, some business people, but not so much from the family side. Leo Donaldson was just saying government support is amazing. Nick says New Zealand as a country is strong leadership. Hopefully all CEOs do the same. Ben Fellow says good discussion. And Maria Fong says demonstrating good values there. Good on you, Dion. Shot Marissa.
Nice feedback. Look, I mean, I was just talking to my wife this morning that we were just discussing. We're saying, man, imagine being a solo parent, or imagine being a one-income family right now. That would be terrifying. So,
but where's the voice for them, right? Like, what happens? Even I put a post up last night because I worked out. I was like, wait a second, it's the 24th, 9 months lockdown. Oh shit, man, there's going to be a lot of Christmas Day babies. Because it's like you've got all of these like forced, like legally forced couples in the same spot. Bro, it's gonna be like I put a tag on. I was like, man, the All Blacks lineup for 2040 is looking pretty solid. But then someone commented below and they said, or divorces and domestic violence, and I was like, oh shit. Think about it, right? You got some old mate, doesn't have his sport, is at home, unhappy, got booze around, can't work, stressed. You put all these different things combined together, and I mean, we're kind of joking about it. I was like, nah, but we're going to have some flipping issues with domestic violence. There's going to be a bunch, the relationship stuff, like clearly certain couples probably can't be together for so long in the same room. And you're already starting to hear them on some of the texts I've been getting. It's just like, bro, I'm going crazy, man. Stuff this shit. I'm like, oh, geez. So there's going to be a lot of not just financial issues that community are going to have to deal with for this next little bit. I think it's going to get quite emotionally, and the mental health of the nation is going to get tested, I think.
Yeah, look, I don't even know where to start with all unpicking all that, but you're right, it's going to be full on, and we just hope that we can all work, together to support, at times when neighbours and friends and people are just going to have to pull together on some level, and that's going to be crucial. You almost don't think too far ahead either, like I think that's why I sort of said right at the start to my staff, it's 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, because we all assume or hope that in 1 month everything goes back to normal, but the reality of it is this is step change probably for some time, and if it doesn't take a futurist to work out that we're going to be at least 6 months to a year, maybe even 18 months in a changed world, and even after that it might be changed so substantially that things never go back to normal. So you just got to be careful not to be alarmist about those things as well, and that's why I think deal with the here and now, deal with the things that are affecting the business or the personal, and try to step through it, and try to get all of it on the way.
So I think that exactly that point is thinking about the 1 day, 1 week, 1 month thing is, I was watching this interview with a Navy SEALs trainer, and he was saying during Hell Week, and he was an instructor for it, he was saying during Hell Week, if you think of it as the whole week, you're stuffed, because you'll be on Monday at midnight and you're like, shit, I got to go till Sunday, I'm stuffed. But he was like, if you think of it as meal to meal, I'm just going to go to my next meal. And he makes the meal. I'm just going to get to my next meal, the next meal. And as long as you think of that, 26 times or whatever it is, that's a different way to compartmentalize mentally how you break it down. And I actually kind of agree with it. And it was weird. I was sitting here this morning, I was thinking, well, everyone's going to be at home and they're balancing it out. It'd be really interesting to interview someone that spent time in prison and ask them how that's done like a flippin' 10 stretch, and see how do they actually mentally go through their routine of how they do this to it, right? And if you can think of the time blocking strategy of people in prison that have been in prison, I can guarantee it's probably given, like the adjustment period for all of regular public is going to go through some crazy mental shit. I mean, I know what it's like to jump around logistically. I think there's going to be there's a lot more conversations that aren't just financial, which are going to be happening. That's become pretty clear.
I said to my staff, we went out and had a sort of a meeting about it all, and there's a great sort of book I got given years ago when I changed careers, and it was called Who Moved My Cheese? And it's a fable. It starts with this little fable about two mice who are stuck in a maze, and they stumble across this big mountain of cheese. And so for a few days they sit there and they hoe into this cheese, and one of them just sits back and sort of living the life of Riley and just starts pigging out and getting fat. And the other one, after a few days, goes, I might just go exploring here. And so he eats in the morning, and he goes off and explores the maze. And lo and behold, a month or so goes by, and all the cheese is gone. And then, clearly the guy who's been off exploring, he's found new piles of cheese and new ways out of the maze, whereas the guy just hasn't changed. So, it's that whole idea of just, look, no matter how good or bad things are right now, they will change. So you've got to keep evolving, and you've got to keep sort of ahead of it somehow, or thinking or moving forward or looking for that new cheese, because
well, it's almost that forced discovery time where you've almost got bandwidth to stop and reset, like emotionally, physically, everything else as well. Guy says, massive respect. Dion, keep up the epic work. Bonus comment, mad American Cup robett. Why, thank you. I'm 4 hours ahead of you, so the goal is I'm never going to say what's in it.
Yeah, really milky wheat coffee.
Shane, Great Values Dion, my fiance is an ED nurse on the front lines fighting the virus. Oh, no shit. Props, Dion. All emergency and ICU staff are putting their lives on the line. I've been appalled by the businesses trying to claim their essential services and stay open. All that's going to do is extend the lockdown timeline, which no business needs. Shot, Shane?
Yeah, well, these, it's great feedback, isn't it? These guys are knowing more, but I mean, look, the temptation's always there. You got, as a business owner, you're looking like, how am I going to keep some income coming in? So you can understand that. But yeah, I think in this day and age, the social media, the responsibility. One of the things I've always said from day one when I started the brand is, people can see under your hood now. They see what's going on. You just do one quick search and you can see how you've behaved with other customers, or are you telling the truth of what's in your products or ingredients, or what sort of business interactions are you doing? So I think in that world, the great thing about that greater transparency is, it's much easier in a way to show good values and to do the right thing.
Do you think it's gonna force business leadership to be more humanized? Like, even I was thinking about yesterday with Jason Paris, right? $1 billion telco, blah, blah. And there he is at his house rocking his Vodafone Warriors t-shirt, just on his cell phone, talking shit on the couch. For me, it's mellow, but then I always get kind of tripped out thinking about the like social dynamics of like leaders, how they're seen on, not necessarily like the ivory tower, us versus them type thing, but to kind of humanize them in a way. And even just like the group chat video calls for all staff, and everyone's at home and there's kids running around in the background and cats going off and whatever it is. Do you think it's going to be a way for, I guess, maybe more of a community to have, I guess, more empathy to others, or
Well, I think that type of leadership's winning already. So I think that's already happened, that change. And those dictator type leaderships, or lack of sort of care for the people that you're working with, I think those people are getting sort of less and less and more sort of isolated anyway. So I think the move is definitely to become more connected as leaders and in the workplace. I think it flows both ways, though. I still think what we need to do at home is not have cats floating around in the background, and not have kids in their undies as best we can. I mean, there's still a need for people to concentrate, need for people to show their attention to the group. So like I sort of said, look, the reality is 3 weeks from now, there's not going to be much work for some of my staff. In fact, 2 weeks from now, in fact, 1 week from now, there's just their day-to-day job is
physically, yeah.
So what I've sort of said is, look, we're going to have a daily morning meeting on Zoom and Skype or whatever it might be, that's your only commitment, unless there's things that flow out of that meeting. But for that meeting, I would not expect people to be turning up in their pajamas or having people coming into the background or whatever. Everyone's taken their computers home, everyone's set up, and we've sort of just asked them, okay, we'll do that in a corner of the house where you can at least
be present.
Yeah, be present. Yeah, and I think that's not much to ask from a business, and I think actually it will actually help our cohesion as a group anyway, because the more isolated you become here, the easier the bad decisions are to sort of arrive at, personally and business wise and all of that. So it's so important we use every facility we can to stay connected.
What's your biggest fear for the next couple months?
Staying alive. My business staying alive. Sorry, not me. Keeping my family healthy and keeping anxiety levels low. I'm pretty good at giving advice, but actually, I've got to save my own business. That's the fact of the matter here. This is pretty serious, and there's no hiding from that. No business can go indefinitely without any income. It just doesn't work that way, and so we've got to really all get back on. And again, don't want to sound alarmist, but we have to get back to shopping local, looking after Kiwi brands. At the same time, people need to not get their one lump sum and think it's lotto. We've got to work it all through. There's so much to negotiate here for everyone, not just business owners. But those are my fears.
Yeah, no, and everyone's got the same thing. I think we're seeing the tip of the iceberg with people making noise about it. But those who can see this thing play out, we're already talking about like mental health and domestic violence and all these other things. Like, that shit's coming, right? Like, this is real stuff. And so, as much as yes, there'll be some forced creativity and ideas and blah blah. Many aren't in this situation. So I think, to your point of the community just validating it's about the we, not necessarily just the me.
Yeah, well, and yeah, totally. And all we can do around creativity is plan, right? And the consumer will dictate those businesses to a large degree, but at the same that do well and survive and bounce back quickly. But I think we all need to sort of just be conscious of each other, and I think what more can you do than that? Really, just sort of help where you can.
I get it. Gareth Hughes says, "Hey Nashy, wise words, mate. It's very interesting times for business owners. Leadership is critical, as this is the moment in time, and there is light. Hope you and the family are well." Oh, there you go, Gareth.
Gareth is the most killer salesperson I've ever met. So shout out to Gareth Hughes, mate. He's a champ.
His beard's looking strong too. Strong beard.
Mate, you don't want to. If he comes knocking, you end up buying off now. Believe me.
I think he's rocking a little Rolex there or something. He's like flexing with the sun's out, guns out, and the little Rolly. Okay, I see you, Gareth. Okay.
When I first came back, when I first joined the workforce after cricket, I didn't know anything. I was useless and the worst salesperson ever. I went out on the road one day with Gareth, and I was just in awe of how he could turn a conversation that was a flat no at the start of the conversation into a classic massive sale by half an hour later. I was like, wow.
Maybe we could get Gareth on the show, and we can do like how to sell remotely.
Yeah, he's got a knives business now, so he's so I'm not sure. Yeah, he's out there. Is it Victory Knives, I think? So shout out to Gareth. He's got
you could do a So can people buy Triumph and Disaster products online and have it third-party logistics anywhere in the world at the moment?
Yeah, well, we believe so, and and for now in America, the UK.
Could they ship it here?
Yeah, maybe. These are the questions, but actually, it's a good question, isn't it? I don't know.
Well, I was just thinking, I was trying to ninja move it. I was thinking, okay, what if you're a dude at home and every couple of days you got to have a shave? All right. So how about you like a Dion at home, little Facebook live set, having a shave and chatting through?
I'm taking the opportunity to develop beard oils and sort of develop some. Yeah. So see what that. And we're going about 5 years too late.
I was trying to get to how you can kind of convert a community through conversation, but then into like commerce, but done through content. Like there's something in there. Give it a challenge to your team. How do we mix in our products at home with men talking shit or whatever it is? It could be. So you could have the Manly Men's Mental Health Hour that we could just talk shit about, and it could be a call-in show for other men talking about the dramas of home.
Well, look, I mean, we have actually been talking about those things. I think as a brand, we've got to keep communicating somehow, and maybe that's just our role through this time is to try to, be an agony aunt or whatever it might be for who knows what it's going to be. But it's I think we have to stay involved with our communities, and that's a time to do that is right now, and sort of. Our customers are the key to our success, and you've heard that. One of the things I learned after sport is, sales is one thing, but return sales is the key. It's like, keeping a customer is so much more valuable than getting a customer the first time. And what we're trying to do now is just work through that process. Got a customer knocking on the door. I'm on live on the thing.
Who is it? No, we bring him in. We'll go bring him in. Who cares? Wait, how about we finish up, or I'll let you do your shit.
Okay, I'll go serve someone. No, right. He's come to pick something up. So, hey, well, listen, thanks for having me. I'll see you
soon. Love your work, brother. I'll see you soon. Cheers, bro. Peace. There we go. The bro, Dion Nash, on his last day working some retail before the shutdown up at Ponsonby. So if you want to support him today, get in the mix real quick. You can go check it out, Triumph and Disaster. Callum said, "What up? G'day, mate." Nah, this guy's a kook. Callum, just go away, mate. Just go away, Callum. He's a bro. And Marissa says, early gift vouchers for Father's Day. True. If you want to go support, do that. And the sunscreen was awesome. Nice. Andrew Miller says, bloody useful insights, guys. Have taken heaps of note. Cheers. Shot, Andrew. I will tell Dion that you said that, or he'll watch this later and be able to check it out. Aroha Armstrong. So cool. Thanks for organizing. Oh, Aroha, she is awesome. All right, team. So one of the things I've been thinking about is I have a Rolodex of lots of people that are really smart and know lots of cool shit. And so what I'm thinking we do is every day try and talk to someone about what their challenges and bits and pieces are going on. So yesterday we had Jason Paris, CEO of Vodafone New Zealand. Today I had Dion Nash, founder at Trauma and Disaster. Tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. we have Jolie Hodson, who is the CEO of Spark New Zealand. She's going to be on, and then on Friday we have Victoria Crone, CEO of Callaghan Innovation. So we're going to get the crew and get the homies in, talking about everything that's going on. And yeah, I think positive media and sharing of insights and value to others is something that I think is pretty important and crucial. So that's cool. Callum just texted me personally and he said, should probably have me on the podcast. Callum, I'm just going to say no, because you're a stalker to my other friend who has been having to message me saying, stop getting you stalking him. So no, Callum. All right, team, enjoy the rest of the day. Tune in tomorrow at 11:30. We have Spark CEO joining us to talk through tech, telco, remote work and all the rest of it. They obviously went agile last year, which is pretty cool. Enjoy the rest of the day, team. Be good. Take care of everyone and giddy up for the next little bit. Shot, team. Peace. Back to the Red Cup. Cheers, guys.